Brilliantos, fantasticos. Alright, good. Here's a lesson. Right. If you're an absolute beginner, you have come to the right place. What we're going to learn and what I'm going to cover is fretting. Fretting is placing a finger just behind, not touching the fret. The frets are these metal bars, yeah? So what do you do when you fret? You will need a thumb or plectrum, you will need a finger and a fret. So let's choose a fret. The frets count up like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, blah 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 blah, etc. So let's choose the 5th fret, and we're going to fret a string at the 5th fret. Okay, so we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's the 5th fret right there. And we're going to take our finger, I'm going to place it just behind that fret, and then take our thumb and see if we've got a clear note. That's all we're going to do. Yeah? Now this is the most simple of abilities, I suppose you'd call it, you'd need on the guitar, right? And one should do this. One should choose a fret, 3rd fret on this thinnest string, take a finger, place it behind, and do that. There we are. We've fretted a string. We've made a note. Good. So do that with the next finger. Take your middle finger, place it behind the 3rd fret, 1, 2, 3, and pluck that note. Let's do the same thing with the 3rd finger. Let's choose the 5th fret, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right, and place the 3rd finger on the 5th fret, just behind the 5th fret. Use your thumb and just pluck it. Gorgissimo, I love you. Good. Alright, let's take the ring finger, this guy here. Let's place it behind the 4th fret. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. Alright. It's a bit weird, isn't it? It's like, ooh, that's strange. Right, and again pluck that note. Gorgissimo. Right, often left out, but very useful, the little finger, or as the Americans say, the pinky. Take this little finger, place it behind, let's say the 5th fret. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This guy here. Alright, place your little finger on. You can put your thumb in the middle of the back of the neck, like that, to give you a bit of a squeeze, a bit of a squeeze. Where were we on the 5th fret? Alright, so you place your little finger just behind, and you get that note. Now it's interesting to note that your fingers should have a little curve in them when you fret, a little curve. Don't let them flatten out like that. No. Have a little curve, and the reason is that gives the support. The support comes from the arm and then through the fingers. If they're straight, you see they're starting to, they'll give. Yeah, so you have a tiny little curve in them. Look, if I take this finger here, it's got a little curl in it. Good. Okay, that's basically fretting. An exercise that everybody does to start with and gets bored with, because it's boring, but it actually is cool, is you take any fret, say let's take this 7th fret here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and place our little finger on it, yeah? Now you'll see that each finger sits nicely in the house of each fret, if you will, yeah? They each have their own area they look after, their own department, if you will. You see that okay? And then what you do to start training your fingers, just to get used to the actual movements and performing, playing a note, you have your little finger down there, you pluck that note, you lift your little finger off, you pluck that note, lift the ring finger off, pluck that note, lift your 2nd finger off, and pluck that note, yeah? Now it's a funny old thing, but what you have to get used to and understand, you have to become aware of what your fingers are doing. It's worth if they're doing this, if they're flying up, don't let them, right? You want, actually, your hands to be relaxed as they possibly can, because what you're doing is you're getting your muscles into a particular position that will will deliver a note or deliver a chord. Yeah. Now, when your fingers work, what they do is a muscle pulls or contracts, and that is caused by a little electrical signal. Yeah. Now, if you're already tense, it's harder to move it. It's harder to move the finger if it's tense. You want just the right amount of pressure so you achieve the note, but you don't want to tense or have fingers sticking up. I mean, obviously there are all sorts of great guitarists that do all sorts of stuff, but this is the best thing you can possibly do if you can train it in early, is get your fingers to remain relaxed, because then, technically, I know it sounds all very wild, blah 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 blah, but you've got electrical signals to your muscles which are telling them to do this position, that position, and so forth. If they're tense in one position, then it's going to be more difficult for them to move, to be told what to do. Do you follow me? And also, if one finger is sticking up, it's pulling against another finger, creating even more tension. So it's worth, say you're going to fret with this finger, and these guys are doing this. Well, just try to bring them into a relaxed position. Say they're like that, just bring them into a relaxed position, and say, you can even, honestly, acknowledge your fingers and go, oh, that's good, lads. Because there is muscle memory. Once you've done this, and you say, oh, good, you've now remembered how it should be, how it feels. If it feels too tense, obviously, you're going to be knackered by the time you've played a few notes. So you want just the right amount of pressure that achieves the note that you want. Does that make sense? And again, if you're stretched out like this, you're creating too much tension. And so you want to relax, play the note, and give yourself a little acknowledgement of like, that's the good, that feels good. Right, does that make sense? It's worth doing that. It's worth doing this little exercise. You can, of course, do it along all the strings if you wish to. But what is the point? The point is gaining control of your fingers. The way you do it is by being totally aware of what you're doing. Don't do it like, oh, what is boring, man. It's actually interesting when you really watch what you're doing. You suddenly feel where your finger is. It's not quite in the centre. I prefer it there. And then, as I took that off, I go, oh, that's where it goes, is it? It's fascinating. If you do it whilst being very, very aware of what you're doing, you'll become more in communication with your fingers and more in control of your fingers. And that's what it's all about. So that's... a lot of skills there. A lot of various skills. But you get the idea. If you're doing anything on the guitar, you're learning it, be as aware of what you're doing as you possibly can be. I hope that helps. Love you.